The Seahawks not in so much bad shape. Well, at least not their entire roster, but the running back core is a little up in the air.
Sure is.
Eddie Lacy, of course, signed in free agency, and this article really hammers home the fact that he's going to be the starter. The writer notes the Seahawks aggressively pursued him in free agency, and Lacy is the favorite to hold off Thomas Rawls as the team's feature back. Mm-hmm. Here's my thing. To borrow a phrase from our friend Mark Sessler from the Around the NFL podcast, Lacy is officially on my radar as like one of my least favorite NFL players to talk about because the conversation is just so exhausting around him at this point. With the weight stuff, man. And I'm not even going to be here like, please don't fat shame Eddie Lacy. Like, I'm not saying that because I've said before on Twitter, like, look, if the guy's overweight, he shouldn't be overweight. I don't want to make excuses for that. Like, here's a hot take. It's not good to be overweight ever. Just a thought.
Yeah, especially if you're getting paid millions of dollars to stay in shape.
Right, and I don't even care about, like, I'm not even trying to get into his work ethic or all that. Whatever. Like, my point is just being overweight's bad for you.
Yes.
Don't be overweight.
Right.
Just a thought. Anyways, but really what's obnoxious to me is that the jokes are so bad.
Yeah.
And everybody is making the same one.
It's old and it's tired and
if you honestly like I'm not going to do it on Twitter because I would never have to stop tweeting about it. But if people, I'm over like on a podcast with somebody at this point, like, and there's a lame, corny, same weight joke we've made with Eddie Lacy 300 times. I'm calling people out on it now.
You should.
I'm getting out because it's obnoxious, man. Like, pull up the 55, like when the tweet this week about he made his $55,000 roster bonus because he was in weight. Right. Everybody just slamming the same joke, and it's like, are you people? Do you have any self-awareness? Like, you realize everyone else is making the same joke. What's the point? What are you doing?
Trying to make a splash, bro.
Everyone wants to be funny. You're not all funny.
Did you hear the one about the China food?
Oh, yeah. $55,000 worth of China food. You and everyone else on freaking Twitter.com didn't already think of that.
Oh, you heard that one?
Yeah, heard that one.
Well,
I'm not even yelling at you right now. I'm yelling at metaphorical
Get it
Twitter
out,
people.
dude. It's good.
It's awful.
Fantasy therapy.
It's making me sick of Eddie Lacy.
I know, I get it.
Gelhar and I were talking about this last night. Like, it would be a great story to see Eddie Lacy bounce back and return to form with the Seahawks as their like new age Marshawn
and
Lynch.
Shut everybody up.
But I'm actively not rooting for that story to happen. I feel it subconsciously. I'm rooting against him because I want him to go away.
Right. So that this narrative can end.
So that the jokes can end.
Yeah.
So that lame sports writers stop making the same 5 jokes whenever he's tweeted about because he's been fat before.
Right.
God, just enough.
Enough. All right, you got anything else? You done?
No.
You good? I'm with you, dude. I agree. It's stupid. It's old. It's tired. It's not funny. Just give the guy a break. Let him carry the rock a few times, see what happens. But in terms of this backfield, how this backfield is going to play out in March, I believe Pete Carroll said Thomas Rawls and CJ Prosise were going to compete in camp for the lead spot. So that means Seahawks, and then they signed Lacy after the fact. The Seahawks still hold CJ Prosise, who was a rookie last year, got injured, as a guy who they think maybe can carry the load as a feature back there if they think he's going to compete with Rawls, which is kind of intriguing to me. People just kind of think Prosise is this guy who's going to split out as in the slot or whatever, pass catching back, which is, that's his skill set and that's what he excels at. But if Lacy struggles, if Lacy gets hurt, I can see this being a 50-50 split between Rawls and Prosise. Maybe Rawls isn't the guy we saw in 2015. He struggled a little bit last year, so it's going to be interesting. It makes sense that Lacy's going to get the first shot at this because he's getting paid a bunch of money. Rawls was an undrafted free agent. I think they took Prosise in the 3rd round last year. But it's interesting, and it's going to be confusing and frustrating for fantasy owners. That's my take.
I've said all I need to say on this.
All right, let's move on to the next team.
They're hipsters, but I'm way more hipper.